Stan, can you elaborate or discuss a little bit about enhanced training versus not enhanced training, and the differences?
Yeah, the biggest difference with enhanced training.
Hey, this is Tanner Shuck. I'm in Las Vegas at Sin City Iron with the world's strongest pro bodybuilder, Stan the Rhino Efferding, one of only 10 men to ever total over 2,300 pounds raw. All right, Stan, thank you so much for being here.
There's been a few more added to that list since I did it, let's say, but I'm one of the few over 40, that's
one
for
of the
sure.
few.
Yeah, one of maybe 3 in the world that's ever done it over 40.
Yeah, but still, and a pro bodybuilder and elite world-class level powerlifter. So Stan is a living example of just, you know, practicing what he preaches, and it's just an all-around savage and badass, and one of the few guys that I genuinely look up to. So can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this.
Appreciate you showing up, and you said you were going to try and do a deadlift session today.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm literally going to get trained by one of the world's best coaches, Stan Efferding, and Stan might be the only man I would actually let train me. So this is a privilege and an honor. So without further ado, we'll get into it.
Let's do it. We'll talk real quick about the tools of the trade here. That's all they are, is tools. You can get strong on anything, whether it's free weights or whether it's machines and all of that. I've evolved in my opinion on that over the years. I prefer these. They're not mandatory. If you've got an SSB bar, and you can use just about any box, and you could do the same exercise to build it up. I find it to be less fatiguing, so I'm not going to tire myself out. I can do this more often. And try and build this over time. I'll try and add 25 pounds or an extra rep or two, and over the course of the 4 weeks, if I can get stronger on this, it usually translates for me on the deadlift.
Makes sense.
So let's load her up and we'll get started. So the repetitions that I'm calling here, I don't like to waste a lot of energy on the warm-up sets.
Makes sense.
Some people will jump on an incline dumbbell and they'll do 10 with the 60s, 10 with the 70s, 10 with the 80s, and they'll grab the 100s and do like a working set.
One of the most fatigued.
That's not 4 sets.
Yeah.
That's 1 set when you grab those 100s and actually do something hard.
Yes.
I would much rather just get warmed up.
Yes.
Just move around with a band or whatever. Maybe take a medicine ball and work some speed.
Yes.
And then do doubles. Double until I get to my working weight.
Right.
And then just invest everything I have into maybe 2 top sets. Then pick a second exercise, same kind of scenario.
Yes.
I generally don't do more than 6 sets per particular body part.
Nope.
And 2 exercises, 3 sets of each. And 2 of those sets would be pretty heavy, pretty hard. The 3rd set might be the down set, a little lighter for more repetitions. And then do the same thing on the second exercise, where the 3rd set would probably be an AMRAP for 20 plus reps. That would compose most of my workouts.
So you're telling me an elite powerlifter, professional bodybuilder, in a workout you may do 2 or 3 exercises total?
2 exercises, 3 sets of each.
So,
and probably 4 of those are really all out, and 2 are probably higher repetitions.
Yeah, so
we want to touch each of the muscle types.
Less is more, and it's always going to be quality over quantity. Can I say that?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, good.
Yeah. I do these a lot, so you might have seen videos on my Instagram of these. It's a hip hinge. It's a good morning or an RDL, anything you choose for a hip hinge. For hamstrings, you want to do a knee hinge, and you want to do a hip hinge. You want to get both of those exercises in for hamstrings. This one in particular, the reason I like it is because when I'm doing a good morning with a bar on the shoulders, I just feel like it's hitting a lot of lumbar spine. I feel like it's not grabbing the glutes and the hammies, which is where I want it.
Right.
So this one, and then if I'm doing an RDL, I always feel like there's some potential, I don't know what to call it, but distraction or leakage, or unless you're strapped into the bar, because you've got your arm component here.
Yes.
And on this, I can eliminate the need to hold on to the weight and I'm just focused on
the working muscles.
Yeah. Plus, you can transfer this load just by pulling on it a little bit back slightly to make sure it stays over your shoelaces instead of getting out over your toes.
Okay.
So I set it up, the height is such that when I'm under the bar, I'm deadlifting.
Yes, that's like your starting position.
Starting position.
Makes perfect sense.
And then I'll grab here and lift.
Got it.
And I also try not to get too much knee into the position. I want it to kind of replicate a deadlift, which is reasonably vertical, just a little bit of knee over bar. But I don't want to be squatting the movement. I want to make sure that I'm hinging and using my glutes and hamstrings.
Understood. All right. Man, you're never too old to learn new things. Stan, how long have you been working out? I know you went to University of Oregon, major in exercise science and psychology, I believe.
Yes, since I was 14, my dad brought home a Weider weight set with the concrete-filled weights.
So Stan's been working out for over 40 years.
Over 40 years.
Taking a quick rest between my sets, and one thing I just really want to ask Stan is, why red meat, eggs, and dairy?
Well, I think they've been demonized historically. We've been in that whole egg white, tilapia,
Nonsense.
protein powder, broccoli, guru pre-contest diet. Even in the vegetarian vegan community, they talk about in terms of the healthiest microbiome benefit. You want to get as much diversity as possible with fruits and vegetables. I believe the same thing in terms of your protein sources. I've always got some red meat in there for, again, iron, B12, zinc. I've always got eggs in there, keeping the yolk in there, the salmon for the EPA and DHA. The yogurt, which we're finding now from the Sonnenberg trials out of Stanford, is extraordinary, the fermented foods in particular, for microbiome diversity. And it seems to work across the population. At the end of the day, I just want people to get sufficient protein from a variety of sources so you have a lot of micronutrients. And then we throw in the other necessary things, fruits and vegetables. Fruits in particular are fantastic for anti-inflammatory benefit, for the flavonoids, all of those things, and sufficient fiber. I always throw in the carrots and the spinach, etc. So I just think it should be very diverse.
I'll say this, I have learned more about nutrition just consuming Stan's free content on his YouTube channel than I have ever from any nutrition course, any nutritionist, any dietitian. And his stuff, it's the best. It's influenced my eating more than anyone. You could almost say I eat a vertical diet. This is Stan's diet, vertical diet. And in my opinion, if I had to tell anyone to follow any diet, it would be his, because it just makes the most sense. Stan, can you quickly talk about the difference between health and fitness? Excuse me. Yeah, no, that's it. Being healthy and being fit.
Yeah, I think the healthy, what's the dictionary definition? Being free from illness or injury.
Or disease.
And you show me somebody who's never been injured, I'll show you somebody who's never won anything.
Yeah.
Fitness is the ability to perform a particular duty or task. The fitness level required to be a world's strongest man or a UFC fighter or even a 14-year-old gymnast at the Olympics is not healthy.
Right.
But it's an area that you have to take yourself if you want to be successful as an athlete.
Absolutely.
So,
Stan, can you elaborate or discuss a little bit about enhanced training versus not enhanced training, the differences?
yeah, the biggest difference with enhanced training, your central nervous system, of course, is going to restore faster. You can be a little more fast and loose. You can have a lower minimum effective volume. You can have a higher maximum recoverable volume.
Right.
Meaning you can train harder and more often because
Right.
you're going to recover faster and you
Absolutely.
can acquire more fatigue. Also increases nitrogen retention, so the proteins that you eat are more efficiently
nutrient
stored and
partition,
utilized, but
yes.
you're still going to need sufficient calories to grow.
Absolutely.
But it definitely does improve by every aspect of training.
Yes.
So you can just train harder, longer, more often,
Right.
and get better benefit out of the food that you eat and recover
Absolutely.
faster.
But either way, whether you're training enhanced or not enhanced, working hard being disciplined and consistency, none of that stuff changes, correct?
None of it changes, and the natural athlete just has to be a little more cautious about that window of opportunity under which they're creating a sufficient stimulus and not overtraining, and they have to be really good about getting sufficient, like International Society of Sports Nutrition recommend about 4 meals a day and about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight.
Yes.
They're going to want to do that really consistently.
Right.
And then be more patient.
Yeah,
Because
be
they're
more
not going to
patient.
progress as fast.
Here's another thing so I am a natural lifter. I'm 35 years old. I've always thought the biggest mistake that a lot of young lifters make is they don't max out their natural genetic potential first before they decide to become enhanced. Do you have anything, do you have any thoughts or feelings about that, about young lifters, you know, maybe using drugs too soon or anything like that?
You know, this is a conversation I had recently a couple of times on some podcasts where I talked about the fact that if your solution to every plateau is just to take more gear or just to take gear for a natural lifter to go to gear, you're going to plateau there as well.
Yes.
And not be able to get any better, because the problem isn't, at some point the problem isn't just your testosterone levels. At some point it's a host of other things.
Yes.
Your training program, all the other things we mentioned, sleep, hydration, nutrition. If those are things that are lacking, those will still lack. You take testosterone as a natural athlete, you're gonna get a bump, and you're gonna plateau again.
Right.
You take more, you'll get a little less of a bump. You take even more, you get even less of a bump. It's diminishing returns.
Yes.
And
Law of diminishing returns.
Law
of diminishing returns.
And that's what happens when athletes just only pull that one lever.
Right.
And that's what I was cautioning against, because I've been there to where I've tried to utilize more of the performance enhancing drugs and actually got weaker at times because people confuse side effects with effects. So
Yes.
then you end up compromising your health, and you can actually inhibit your long-term performance.
In other words, no matter what route you take, there are no shortcuts. Just hard work, consistency, dedication, discipline over everything else, all right? Any guy that's real, I don't feel like there's any legitimate real fitness YouTubers. Stan Efferding, Evan Centopani are the two my biggest inspirations, and that's why I went out of my way to want to like work with them. So just you guys remember that, please. No shortcuts. I'm pumped to announce my new partnership with Barbell Apparel. Legitimately the best training gear and casual wear I've ever used. All right, and right now for a limited time only, they are giving away a free stealth hoodie, all right, valued at 88 bucks for any order over $99. I would legit pay 99 bucks for this hoodie as it is, all right? Incredible material. I love the way it fits. I love the fabric and material, and it looks good, all right? Perfect for any training sessions. It's cold outside. I like using it for my warm-ups, obviously. It works really well, all right? I would never endorse any product that I did not legitimately love or use. So make sure to check out Barbell Apparel. The link's in the description. When I deadlift, man, I just think about pulling fast and aggressive. Can I go wrong with that approach? Is that all right?
Well, the only challenge is, which is kind of why I like those camber bar good mornings, is there's something we refer to as strain, the speed of the movement. Some people they'll try and move fast, and when it doesn't move fast, they may just quit.
Right.
But being able to grind through or strain through a movement that takes 5 seconds is actually a skill that you can develop.
Absolutely.
So I don't mind if the bar moves slow, but you have to train yourself to have been exposed to that kind of stimulus.
Makes sense.
Breathe, I'll talk. You just breathe, I'll talk. But what I noticed in there, somewhere around rep 4 or 5, that thing got a little away from your shins. You got out on your toes.
Yeah, I felt it.
And then
actually.
you pulled it back, and rep 6 and 7 were way faster than rep 5 for that very reason.
Right.
So one of the hardest part about repetitions is making sure that the bar is close enough to your shins and over your shoelaces center of gravity the whole time.
Absolutely, keep the bar close to your body. Another thing, Tinica, you're gonna love this. Stan's the guy that got me to start pissing in a bucket.
Thanks, Stan.
Everyone thinks I'm crazy for pissing in a bucket. If you actually just listen to his rants when he was training to become professional to get your pro card, I believe.
Yeah, I was waking up 3 times a night peeing because Flex had me drinking 2 gallons of water a day.
Yeah.
And getting up and going to the bathroom and turning the light on, all that stuff, it was disrupting my sleep. And so I solved that problem.
Yeah, so here's my mindset. Can't be different by being the same. And Stan's one of those guys that just took things to a whole nother level. And I was like, dude, if this guy is taking his sleep and recovery so seriously, he just pisses in a bucket and goes back to sleep. That's what I need to be doing. And so that's why I started pissing in a bucket every night. My girlfriend hates me for it.
The little things add up.
They do.
They
Fucking
really
A.
do.
So I'm not crazy for pissing in a bucket. I'm really not.
Done to you or for you is not anything as good as you do yourself.
Yeah, and I was talking mostly about recovery. Things that are done to you or for you are never as effective as things you do for yourself.
Preference on where my hands
Doesn't
are?
matter. No, we're just doing repetitions. It should just feel good. You don't have to do an extreme range of motion. You're just going to try and get tons of blood, tons of repetition into the hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. We do a few of these with light loads. You might even grab a band and do a little band. But we'll do 3 sets of 20 here, and you'll just feel better tomorrow.
Absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you check out Stan on YouTube. His Rhino rants are epic. You can also learn more about him at stanefforting.com. He's a wealth of information. More people need to know about him. Thank you so much for watching. Stan, I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you, brother. Great
Man,
workout.
it's an honor.
Thanks for
Truly an
coming.
honor. Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much for having me.